In the air to right, and he did it again!
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe and follow.
Welcome back to another Lefties 2 broadcast. We have the top 10 legendary pitchers. There's only 10 of them, so 10 to 1. Which one do I think is reigning supreme? Tune in and find out. All right, here we go. Finally, we can do another top 10 list. That's a legitimate top 10. We now have 10 pitchers here, right, that are legendary pitchers. And, some go all the way back from the very beginning, right? Roger and Maria, they're number 1 and 2 in this game, the OG legendary pitchers, and we got a bunch of new ones. So which one do I think, right? Which one do I think is 10 through 1? Starting out right away. Here we go. Number 10, Roger. Now, again, I'll have my opinion based off of every aspect of this, but Roger is number 10 for me, and I'll tell you why. Again, when he first came out, when this game first started, before even Jessica, the first new player of the game, he and get 24 win percentage. I think that's based off a Clash League or something. I don't know what's going on. They haven't fixed that stat at all, but I'm a little better than that. But the idea is that he used to be unhittable. Right? His fastball, you could not hit it after getting a hit. They nerfed him pretty badly. So, the one thing he does have going for him is, the 2-seam, 4-seam changeup curve, right? I do like a 2-seam fastball more than a 4-seam fastball. Velocity, no velocity, doesn't matter. Again, it just doesn't work for me. And his pitches are easily able to read. His curve doesn't have a lot of break. And then the changeup isn't really effective with the 2 fastballs as well. Sometimes you throw that changeup or that curveball right in the middle of the bottom part of the plate. It can throw you off if you've got a lot of fastballs, but he is number 10 for me, just not cutting it. Number 9. All right, number 9. We're going to the sister, right? Marie. Again, we have that fastball, slider, and then of course you match her up with Rose. You get that changeup, which actually helps quite a bit. Just the one reason for me is that her control is subpar, right? You play against bots, you're getting killed. You're playing against top tier opponents. They're not biting on that changeup. If you play with Marie, again, these ideas, my opinions, are based off of, top level playing, right? If you're playing rookies, I mean, you could use any pitcher and you can get outs if you're playing against noobs, right? But again, top tier competition, Marie doesn't work because a lot of the top tier competition has such great plate discipline, and her control, you cannot pinpoint the location. So that is why she is number 9. Number 8 on the list. Next is going to be none other than Maria. Now, I could have flip-flopped, I think, 7 and 8 here, but the reason why Maria, again, she's one of those pitchers you get really early in the game, right? Russian, a little Russian pitcher. I never actually read her bio before. Interesting. But anyways, she does increase the ability of all of your fielders throwing, which is pretty strong. But the lack of velocity, there's no velocity there and no spin, which means the movement and even the control don't really matter if you're throwing in the strike zone because, again, the ball is getting roped. Now, she does have one of the better changeups in the game that's deceptive coming from that, sidearm angle. But again, once you have her down, I've seen some players that are really they're nasty with her, but for the most part, most people aren't that effective with her. And, she is kind of fun sometimes when you're playing a defensive lineup to add that extra throwing, but that is why she is number 8 for me. Number 7. Again, I could have flip-flopped him, but Murdoch. He is number 7 here. Again, going same exact reason, essentially, with Maria, excuse me. High control, high movement, but velocity, spin. A little bit better on the spin, especially at 14. Gets a little bit better. And of course, that two-strike, two-seamer, which again, I do appreciate, does allow for some pretty fun aspects, especially when you pair him with Nia. Again, Nia's my top catcher in this game right now, just from my own 2 cents and how I pitch. So I do like the curveball. It just isn't all right. It's so slow. The curveball is so slow that it's easy to read if it's that 50-50 ball. I'm not a big fan of his fastball. His four-seam fastball is way too slow, and his changeup, they don't complement each other at all. So that is why he is number was it 6, right? Number 6. 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7. My bad. Yeah, no script, guys. Number 6, and this is probably a controversial one in my opinion, just because I think he's one of the most overrated players in the game. And I don't know why people have such an obsession, but Shitaro, and again, the reason why he's number 6 on this list is the fact that they nerfed him, significantly nerfed him quite a bit, where they lowered the velocity. One, they took his ability to get that velocity up on foul balls, which I tended to agree with, right? Because at least the batter's hitting the ball. So, you get foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, it keeps on going up, where sometimes the foul balls in real baseball actually are more beneficial to the batter in the long run of the game. So that's kind of why I agree with that. But then they nerf fastballs by slowing them down, and then they gave it more. What do they say? The idea that the ball is going to go farther, right? Is what they said. I don't know. Forgot the terminology they used in Baseball Clash, but the fastballs get hit farther. He does have good spin, and at 14, 212 spin, match it with Nia 242 spin, which is pretty solid. But again, that unless you're using that changeup splitter combination, his fastball is not overpowering. His sweeper does not break at all. He does come up with the batting though. But again, he's just an overrated player. People are afraid of him. They shouldn't be, in my opinion. All right. Number 5. Number 5. Now, number 5 again is subject to nerf, and that's Riley. Riley was nerfed quite a bit here. Velocity, movement, pitcher, control, nowhere to be found. Spin, nowhere to be found. 186. Again, match him up with Nia. The spin does come in handy, which is super helpful. Again, guys, this is all based off me using Nia. I love her. She's my favorite catcher in this game. The way I pitch. But again, the reason why Riley, again, he was probably the hardest pitcher for me for the longest time until they actually nerfed him also. Again, same thing with the fastball. They lowered the speed of the fastball, which took away the ability to be more deceptive, right? Because the sliders and fastballs sometimes were coming so quick, you couldn't tell which is which. So a lot of top tier players can still use him quite a bit, really effectively, actually. But the fact that the fastball is slower makes it easier to time and easier to hit, especially when, of course, it's in the strike zone. All right. Now, number 4. Number 4, my guy Wade. Right? This is my main pitcher in this game. Right? And I love Wade because of that massive spin. Right? 225. You add him with Nia once again. 255 spin. The movement, again, 186 control, 186 velocity. But again, the velocity increases when he's going against legendary and epic players, which definitely helps when a lot of teams nowadays are, overpowered with that. And I actually utilize the lack of control to my advantage it really helps with those 50-50 balls. I do give up a couple home runs here or there, but again, the high spin kind of alleviates when the ball is actually hit, and I get a lot of soft contact in a lot of ways there. So this is why Wade to me is the fourth pitcher. Now, again, when I'm facing Wade, I can read him pretty well, but again, not a lot of people pitch the same way I do with him. So when it comes to his readability, got to nibble a little bit. With the fastball, changeup, slider, two seamer, has all four different types of pitches. So they're coming at you different ways. A lot of movement, right? So that kind of helps. All right, top three. We're coming to the top three. Top three. This one I had to kind of go back and forth on. It's really difficult. But I went with Josh here. Now, Josh is still, again, these top three are, you can interchange them if you want to. But the four-seamer is really reason why he, it's not really fair to say, there's people above him that have a four-seamer too. So the circle change in his curveball are really difficult to read. Still hard for me to see. Difficult. And again, the idea that breaking ball comes in. Looking at that skill, again, at level 13, I have him at 12, as you can see. 187 on the control. The velocity's there. Not a lot of movement, even at 14, but he does have that high spin, right? So, again, I love having high spin for me and how I pitch. So that's why Josh is number three. It could have been two, it could have been one. No, on that list, it's anybody's game there. Now, number two is my guy Simon, right? About almost to 100 games. The velocity spin combination, interesting combo. But the fact that he has such a low control doesn't even matter because you get to control the control. You directly control the pitch zone. So that means that's irrelevant. Now it's the movement. Like it says 176 movement, but that screwball and that sweeper move quite a bit, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but this guy is hard to read. And the fact that you can actually utilize the control, like the bad control, to your advantage early now, it's still new. You could use that. This guy is number two. Because of that spin, pair him with Nia, 262. He will be nerfed on that somehow, some way. But again, maybe not, because again, only people that are going to drop a lot of dollar bills to get him to 14 after the boost are going to use him. So he's one pitcher I can't wait to see go away. So what that means is the number one overall pitcher for me is Luna, right? Heavy control, movement and spin, kind of similar, no velocity. She's kind of like Jo, doesn't have a two-seamer or a four-seam fastball. But that movement, I'm telling you, man, like once the 193 goes 14, she's in the 200. Again, high spin at 14. Match her with Nia, again, movement, and the control is there. She's pinpointing, doesn't even, and the fact that her velocity is so low, it helps so much more because all of her pitches have so much movement. You don't know which is coming, which where. And then that sinker is just ridiculous how much cut backwards it has. So there's why Luna to me is the number one overall pitcher. And again, it's just for me it's kind of a combination of like using her and then facing her. If it was, facing somebody, this pretty much is kind of similar too. When I face Luna, it's difficult. When I face Josh, it's difficult. When I face Simon right now, he's so new, it's difficult. I could flip-flop those three all day long. Now, again, facing Wade, he's number four because I like to use him and I know how to use him. But if it was people I faced, I love facing pitchers that use Wade. He'd probably be like 10 or 9 or something like that. I don't know. Probably a little lower. But there it is, guys. The top 10 legendary pitchers in the game. Tell me what you think. What is your top 10 legendary pitcher list? Let me know in the comments. You guys, 2 more months, and we're going to have 100 players in this game. That's going to be the next gigantic list, top 100. Woo, that's a long one. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching another Lefties 2 broadcast. See you next time.